Hello everyone, so today we're going to be doing a speed edit with this gorgeous model Nula. As you can see here, I began with doing a lens correction, which I made a preset for. The first thing I usually do is I sort out my exposure, so I make sure that all the shadows and the highlights are the way I want them to be. I mess about with the tone curve. Now you can see that it kind of goes crazy sometimes. That's because I'm using a tablet. Usually what I do is I zoom in right into the face to make sure that my face is exposed well. Then I deal with the colors and the white balance. Here what I'm trying to achieve is a kind of Brandon Woolful-ish kind of candy floss theme because of her pink hair, so it's taking me a lot to get the tones right, because obviously it was overcast, but it was the bad type of overcast, if you know what I mean, and she was mostly in the shadow. We were all in the shadow. It was really dark. As you can see, I'm zooming in on the face again to make sure that I'm not underexposing the face too much. What I always try to do is expose correctly for the face and work around that. Here I'm doing some split toning to kind of get that kind of filmish nice look. I take so long because I try to need to touch those settings as little as I can and be able to paste them onto all of the photos that I've chosen to edit. Again, here I go back to actually no, here I play around with the camera calibration, which I think people don't really spend enough time on. It gives you a lot of choice with how you want the colors to look on your camera, sorry, like from your camera, and it changes kind of the colors within the raw file. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's different than usual using the HSL sliders. So now I've made a preset of my settings, and I've synced all of my photos together, and now I'm just going to mess with the white balance because I shoot with my white balance on auto. Here I'm cropping all of the photos using the what's it called? Using the more complicated row of thirds. So now I'm just taking my time. I've made a preset for face brightening, and I'm just going to use that on her skin to kind of lighten her up a little bit, because again it was very overcast, very bad weather, but we really wanted to do that shoot. And here I'm just sorting out, making sure that my mask is good enough, and that looks good. Again, zooming in on the face, checking all my details, making sure that my sharpening is right. So now I'm dealing with the masking. I never put it all the way. I always gonna try to keep it more natural looking, so I don't want like just the lashes to be sharpened, because that's very obvious. I want to sharpen up some of the details. And lightening her skin with that mask really helps achieve kind of that flat look I'm going for. Now you might have noticed that all my photos are cropped. That is because I synced them and I had cropping selected as well. For these ones I decided to do them central in the end of the day, because you know, she was the point of these photos, so I wasn't trying to make a point of the background or anything. Next thing I'm doing is just kind of making sure that my composition is good and that I like it and I like the look of all of these photos. I really like the way the split toning worked in these. This is actually the second time I'm editing these this batch of photos because the first time I edited it to fit my Instagram look, and afterwards I edited them so that they can fit her Instagram, because, you know, she is my client. Even though it was a TFP shoot, I was doing a model call on Instagram and she found me. And here, as you can see, I'm still tweaking the exposure in most of the photos because, again, settings change. The way we shoot sometimes changes mid-shoot, and I'm just trying to, you know, make all the pictures look as similar as possible. Really taking my time with the crop. This is sped up about 16, no not 16, but 8 times from the original. And as you can see, the initial settings that I put, since the first photo was overexposed, don't really work for these last ones, so I have to really fix the exposure, especially on that one. That's my favorite one. There is just something special about it. This one was kind of hard to like properly crop because basically the building that has the archway was slanted to the side, so something will look slanted end of the day. This is just a wee detail photo I decided to take, and again here I'm cropping. That's just another detail photo. So now I'm just fixing the exposure, making sure all of them are equally bright and none of them will look weird. Again, here I'm masking the skin, making sure that she looks nice and soft and that it looks as natural as possible. A big problem with doing natural light shoots is ending up with an underexposed model, so I really try my best to make sure that she is properly exposed, especially her face, and that it looks as natural as possible. And this is just what I'm doing here. Some photos need it down to the neck, others not really. Here I'm just going down to her arm, that's towards the camera. Again, this is my own preset. I have put the shadows up and the clarity, this way I don't really lose any detail and it looks more natural, so it looks like there is less shadows that fall on her face. But you really have to be careful when doing that, again, to keep it within the limits of her skin. Make sure that it's not overlapping her clothes or the background, because that ends up looking really fake. Nula is actually, she's not a professional model. She's just a girl who saw my model call. She does pole dancing and she's just so gorgeous. And she has the prettiest blue eyes. She's the nicest person I've ever met. And whenever I meet her, she's just gorgeous, and I'll be posting a greenhouse shoot I did with her just recently, which I edited quite differently, but I will be re-editing it and making sure that it looks good, and I'll be using the Amalfi presets by Julia Trotti. I'm not against using presets. I actually think it's quite a good thing to do, especially if you're just starting out and if you're working with clients. If you want to learn how to get certain effects, that's perfect. I will be selling the preset which I used here. It will be part of my Candy Floss series, and this one is just called Candy. It will there will be a link to my Instagram in the description below, and if you contact me there, I can send it to you for, of course, some money, because I'm not doing this for free. Even though I enjoy it, I like to be paid for my time. And here I'm just going over the photos one more time because they looked a bit too overexposed to me, and giving them some finishing exposure touches, making sure none of them are overdone, making sure they look similar, sorting out my colors one last time. And yeah, thank you for watching very much. Please read the description and I'll see you in my next video.